Today our topic is the link between Stoicism and minimalism. Both of these ideas are very old, but they are also very popular today. They teach us how to live a good life with less stress and more meaning. Stoicism is a philosophy that started in ancient Greece and Rome. It teaches us how to control our emotions, accept what we cannot change, and focus on what really matters. Minimalism is a way of living that focuses on having fewer things and simplifying life. It is about removing the extra stuff so we can focus on what is important. At first glance they might seem different, but they are actually very connected. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach us to let go of what we don't need and focus on what truly matters. Let's explore how these two ideas work together and how they can help us live better lives. Stoicism teaches us that happiness does not come from external things like money, fame, or possessions. Instead, it comes from within. A Stoic philosopher named Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This means that true wealth is not about having a lot of stuff, but about being content with less. Minimalism shares this idea. It tells us that having too many things can make life complicated and stressful. When we own fewer things, we have more time and energy to focus on what really matters, like relationships, personal growth, and our passions. Both Stoicism and minimalism remind us that we don't need a lot to be happy. Happiness comes from within, not from the things we own. Another important idea in Stoicism is the concept of control. Stoics believe that some things are within our control, and some things are not. For example, we can control our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. But we cannot control other people's opinions, the weather, or the past. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. Minimalism also teaches us to focus on what we can control. When we have too many things, it can feel like those things control us. We spend time cleaning, organizing, and worrying about our possessions. But when we simplify our lives and own fewer things, we take back control. We decide what is important and let go of the rest. Both Stoicism and minimalism help us focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. Stoicism also teaches us to be grateful for what we have. A Stoic philosopher named Marcus Aurelius said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This idea of gratitude is also important in minimalism. When we own fewer things, we learn to appreciate what we have. We stop chasing after more and start enjoying what is already in front of us. Gratitude helps us feel content and satisfied with our lives. It reminds us that we don't need more to be happy. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach us to be grateful for the simple things in life. Another connection between Stoicism and minimalism is the idea of mindfulness. Stoicism teaches us to be present in the moment and to pay attention to our thoughts and actions. It reminds us that life is short, and we should make the most of every moment. Minimalism also encourages mindfulness. When we have fewer things, we are less distracted. We can focus on the present moment and enjoy it fully. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach us to live in the moment and appreciate the simple joys of life. Stoicism and minimalism also teach us to be resilient. Life is full of challenges, and both philosophies help us deal with them in a healthy way. Stoicism teaches us to accept difficulties and see them as opportunities to grow. It reminds us that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Minimalism also helps us build resilience. When we own fewer things, we are less attached to material possessions. This makes it easier to handle loss or change. Both Stoicism and minimalism teach us to be strong and adaptable in the face of life's challenges. One of the most important lessons from Stoicism is the idea of living in accordance with nature. Stoics believe that we should live in harmony with the natural world and with our own true nature. This means being honest, kind, and virtuous. Minimalism also encourages us to live in harmony with nature. When we own fewer things, we consume less and reduce our impact on the environment. Both Stoicism and Minimalism teach us to live simply and in harmony with the world around us. Stoicism and Minimalism also teach us to prioritize our values. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what is truly important, like virtue, wisdom, and relationships. Minimalism helps us do this by removing the distractions and clutter from our lives. When we own fewer things, we have more time and energy to focus on our values. Both Stoicism and Minimalism help us live a life that is aligned with what we truly care about. Another connection between Stoicism and Minimalism is the idea of self-discipline. Stoicism teaches us to be disciplined in our thoughts and actions. It reminds us to avoid excess and to live a balanced life. Minimalism also requires self-discipline. It takes effort to resist the temptation to buy more things and to simplify our lives. Both Stoicism and Minimalism teach us to be disciplined and to make choices that align with our values. Stoicism and Minimalism also teach us to be independent. Stoicism reminds us that we don't need external things to be happy. We can find happiness within ourselves. Minimalism also encourages independence. When we own fewer things, we are less dependent on material possessions. Both Stoicism and Minimalism teach us to be self-reliant and to find happiness within. Finally, both Stoicism and Minimalism teach us to live intentionally. Stoicism reminds us to think carefully about our actions and to live with purpose. Minimalism also encourages us to live intentionally. When we own fewer things, we are more mindful of our choices. Both Stoicism and Minimalism teach us to live with intention and to make choices that align with our values. In conclusion, Stoicism and Minimalism are deeply connected. Both teach us to let go of what we don't need and focus on what truly matters. They remind us that happiness comes from within, not from external things. They teach us to be grateful, mindful, resilient, and disciplined. They encourage us to live in harmony with nature and to prioritize our values. Both Stoicism and Minimalism help us live simpler, more meaningful lives. By combining the wisdom of Stoicism with the simplicity of Minimalism, we can create a life that is balanced, purposeful, and fulfilling. So let's take these lessons to heart and start living a life that is aligned with what truly matters.